Before we talk about money, investing, or decisions, we need to talk about why people pay thousands of dollars a year for financial advice in the first place. Most people think they pay advisors for information. That's not true. Information is cheap. People pay for something else. They pay for psychological safety. They pay for someone to say no when emotions are high. They pay for someone to slow them down during a panic. They pay for someone to veto an impulse they don't fully trust themselves to control. This course is designed to replace that function, not with opinions, not with predictions, but with structure. Most financial education fails because it assumes the problem is a lack of knowledge. It isn't. The real problem is that people are forced to make decisions in moments of stress, uncertainty, and urgency without a system strong enough to protect them from themselves. That's why people outsource thinking, not because they are incapable, but because thinking under pressure is hard. This course is not about making you smarter. It is about making you safer. Traditional financial education teaches you what to do. Save this, buy that, avoid this. This course teaches you something more valuable. It teaches you how to build a personal system that can veto bad decisions before they become expensive. That is what high-fee advisors actually provide. By the end of this course, you will have that protection without paying for it every year. To do that, we start differently. We do not start with investing. We do not start with products. We do not start with goals. We start with orientation. When the brain feels uncertain, it becomes anxious. When anxiety rises, working memory shrinks. When working memory shrinks, judgment collapses. That is why money feels overwhelming to beginners. Not because they are bad learners, because their brain is overloaded. So before we ask you to think abstractly, we give your brain something solid. This is called the inventory. The inventory is not a plan. It is not a judgment. It is not a scorecard. It is a snapshot. There are only 3 things to notice: money coming in, money going out. What you already own or owe. That's it. No optimization, no fixing, no pressure to change anything yet. Think of it like opening a map. You don't choose a destination until you know where you are standing. Many people skip this step because it feels uncomfortable, but avoiding reality increases anxiety. Facing reality reduces it. This inventory gives your brain an anchor. Once you know what exists, uncertainty drops. Once uncertainty drops, thinking improves. It is important to understand what this inventory is not. It is not budgeting. It is not financial planning. It is not about being good or bad with money. It is orientation. And orientation is the foundation of every intelligent system. This course is also designed to protect you from what researchers call a hot state. A hot state is when emotion is high. Stress, fear, excitement, urgency, social comparison. In a hot state, the brain shifts into fast, reactive thinking. Time feels shorter, risk feels larger, authority feels comforting. In that state, even intelligent people make poor decisions. That is not a personal failure. That is how human cognition works. Advisors are often paid thousands of dollars a year to act as a circuit breaker in these moments, to say no, to slow the process, to remind the client of what they already knew before emotion took over. This course is designed to build that circuit breaker inside you, not by giving you answers, by giving you structure. Another reason this course replaces expensive advice is that it collapses information asymmetry. Many people believe financial systems are too complex to understand. That belief keeps them dependent. In reality, most complexity exists to hide incentives. That's why we start with plain language. Instead of using intimidating terms, we ask simple questions. For example, who gets paid if I say yes? That question works at every level. Later, once your confidence grows, you will learn the academic language behind it. But language should never block understanding. Understanding comes first. This course respects how beginners actually learn. You will not master everything at once. You will not be asked to carry 5 ideas in your head immediately. You will practice one concept at a time, in low-stakes simulations, before applying it to real decisions. You will make mistakes on purpose, because learning how decisions break is more valuable than learning how they succeed. By the end of this course, something important will shift. You will stop seeing yourself as a user of financial products. You will begin to see yourself as the architect of a system. An advisor is not magic. An advisor is a system with a human interface. This course teaches you how to build the system without outsourcing your sovereignty. Researchers call this epistemic autonomy. It is the highest form of learning. It means you no longer need someone else to think for you. This course will not tell you what to buy. It will not tell you what career to choose. Outcomes depend on the world. Thinking depends on you. What this course gives you is more durable. It teaches you how financial decisions are triggered, how time distorts judgment, how systems reward certain behaviors, how risk actually breaks people, how identity shapes choices under pressure. These are the skills people usually pay thousands of dollars to access indirectly. You are learning them directly. By the end of this course, you should not feel excited. You should feel calm. Calm means your brain is no longer overloaded. Calm means you can listen without reacting. Calm means you can veto your own impulses. That is what real financial confidence feels like. Not speed. Not bravado, sovereignty. In the next module, we begin the first step of the decision system. Not math, not strategy. Awareness. We will learn how to recognize what activates a financial decision before it even feels like a decision. Because if you cannot see the trigger, no advisor in the world can save you. When you're ready, continue to Module 1.